I've been with my current employer for a year now. It just happened 2 days ago. And if I take a step back and I think about, where I was a year ago, before this, I had just left the job that I'd been at for almost 5 years, and I was doing multiple odd jobs to try to like scramble and get everything together. Financially, I was in a position where I didn't know what the future was going to hold, like what it would might look like, nothing like that. And but I was making it work, and it was cool. It was an interesting thing, um, and it's made me think about a reflection that I think about this from time to time. I guess is I'm 50 now, and if I go back 10 years to 40-year-old Justin, where was I? What was I doing? Right? I was in Germany at that time. I had been in Germany for 10 years. I had my own business that I'd been running with my ex and my partner for quite some time. It was pretty successful in terms of touching other people's lives and making an impact, and it was very cool. I love that. I was acting on the side. I was still living at the house, so I was in daily contact with my two sons. I still had the relationship that I had with Natalie, and but things weren't all that great. I was smoking pot at the time, you know, using mushrooms secretly, and feeling the effects of keeping secrets, like that kind of stuff. And it was eating away at my soul. And in that Justin, in that time period, if you had asked him where would he be in 10 years, there's no way in the world that I would have told you that I'd be back in the United States, that I'd be working as a delivery person, that and that I would be actually having financial security in a way that I'd never dreamed of or intended, really. I wouldn't have been living alone. My kids would have been a daily part of my life. Like the 40-year-old Justin would never have been able to imagine the circumstances of 50-year-old Justin's life. Now, take it back another 10 years. 30-year-old Justin was living in Burlington. Tyler was still alive. Actually, my mom and my stepfather and my grandmother were all alive still. My grandfather was still alive. Like, there were a lot of things. I was embedded in the Burlington community. I was very active in the 12-step program that I was in. I had been a salesperson for five and a half years at that time, and I'd been clean and sober since 1999. It's like that's a fact that I still am like super amazed by, that I haven't drunk alcohol since 1999. It's just wild to me, but I'm very thankful for it. And but 30-year-old Justin would never have been able to imagine that 40-year-old Justin would have gone to another country to live, would have learned another language, would have traveled to various countries, that would have had two children in a long-term relationship. Like, I was like always a loner. I was always by myself, and I find myself by myself now, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the way it should be. But 30-year-old Justin would have had no way of imagining what 40-year-old Justin would have experienced. And likewise, go back 10 years again to 20-year-old Justin. At that time, I was living in Tappahannock, Virginia. I was very much in the throes of alcoholism. I was staying with my sister and my then brother-in-law, and with my niece and nephew at that time. And I was completely and utterly lost. I absolutely was lost. I had no self-esteem, no sense of, I had way too many questions for this life that were unanswered. And if you had asked, 20-year-old Justin where he would be at 30, dead would have probably been, an answer that I would have said, at that time, because man, I was just a train wreck. And, and what I like about this kind of exercise of going back in 10-year increments and realizing that, it just makes me realize that I never know what the next day is going to bring, and that I don't need to. It's unnecessary for me, and that this life, for a very long time, the 20-year-old Justin was very much caught up in this idea of like, I have to know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I have to have a vision, a plan for the future. I have to have an idea, and I have to make it all come true. It just makes me think of like, when I was young and my mom would be like, you could dream, Justin, you could just dream, just be, whatever you want to be. And like, and in some senses, I think imagination might have actually been my very first addiction. I kind of got addicted to imagining how life could be, not realizing that habit was actually me practicing not being able to accept the reality as it was, and thinking that somehow I had to create out of life something good, because the what's there is that, well, if I have to create something good, it must not be good. It must be missing it if I have to want it, right? Like I can't want something without thinking that I'm missing it. And so, but it's not, it doesn't, like, that's not actually what's great about life anymore. Like, that's not what it is. That's like, it's the discovery process. It's not knowing who I am. It's discovering who I am. It's not knowing what life is. It's discovering what life is and what this path is all about. And that's where, like, this particular exercise kind of brings it home. It's kind of like, I never need to know what I'm doing, in the next 5 years or the next 10 years or anything along those lines. I just do what I'm doing today, and that's it. This is what I'm doing right now, and this is who I am at this moment in time. This is what life has shaped me into, and so this is how it gets expressed. And that's beautiful. That's wonderful, because it relieves so much of the stress of thinking that I have to know or that I have to produce something in this world. I don't. I've never had to. I never realized that. All I have to do is observe it. Like, just be, right? I don't have to worry about what I am. I just have to know that I am. And that's it. Like, and get a chance to explore this world on a day-to-day basis. And, I don't know in 10 years that I'll be in the same job that I've got right now. I have no idea. But I can say that, at this point in time, this is what I have, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm exploring, and this is what I'm discovering, right? Like, these are the experiences that I'm having, and these are the experiences that I'm discovering, and that's it. That's it. It's rather simple. Life is a lot simpler than I originally thought it up to be. My imagination sucks. Create complex ideas about something much simpler than it actually than it was originally presented to me. So it's like, I really enjoy, like, kind of thinking like that. And since my anniversary was there, I just thought that that's kind of a cool little way of reflecting on life to kind of square me back up to it to some degree or another.